Follow the Money Investor Group is a 100% Indigenous-owned company and certified with the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business.
Nicole, Brewster.
Mr. Karl Boyd.
We're going to go for a morning drive, and I want everyone to know that if you enjoyed this interview with Nicole today, please go in the description of this video. We're going to be doing a webinar. Ashley's going to be hosting it with Nicole. She's going to be breaking down a lot of the details and current and latest news releases from Renforth Resources, and she'll be taking your questions. That will be on November 7th at 7 p.m. Again, that's November 7th at 7 p.m.
Come on out and join us.
Let's go for a little Tom Cruise.
Let's go.
We're going to go for a nice convertible drive. I think, what is it, October 17th?
Yes.
All right, so like towards the end of October, and it's like
yeah,
the next 10...
Gorgeous, sunny, clear sky, 13 degrees.
Right?
Loving it. Snow's coming.
And we have
Snow's coming.
We have this weather for like another week and a half or so.
Oh yeah? Better finish the garden.
Let's go for a little cruise. I got to let the RPMs come down here. It's part of the deal.
Part of the deal?
Yeah.
Make a little bit of noise first?
Yeah. This thing's got a supercharger on it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Which is fun, but then...
Where do you go with it? Where can you be supercharged?
The way that it's geared, it's more of just a highway driving car,
yeah.
But you can have some fun with it. And I do.
I like driving. But
I know, because I see you everywhere, and you can't miss your car.
No, but that's the reason I drive that brand. It has a top speed where things start peeling off it after a certain point.
Do you have that a Jeep Girl sticker on there?
I have a GTA Jeep Girl sticker.
Okay.
And then there's a Durham group, but I don't have a sticker for them.
Yeah, I see the Durham group because they go into the trails behind my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All
mine's
right.
a pavement princess. I don't have the time to take it on trails.
That's right. You got kids and Renforth.
Kids and Renforth, husband, dogs, garden, parents. You know, the whole...
I'm sorry about the husband. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, well, he's still with us. Just means I get to cook everything from scratch again. That's all.
Let's make a Larry. Actually, no, let's make a Roger. So all-time high today for gold.
Yeah, well, Russia's buying. Go figure.
Is it Russia?
Yeah, well, that's come out that Russia's buying gold.
Okay.
So Russia's stockpiling. You got to figure they've got currency issues, right? So they need something that's fungible.
Yeah.
Because they're trading, you know, they're still doing their thing despite the U.S. sanctions, but gold is the ultimate fungible, no counterparty risk, no fiat risk. It's hard to lock down gold. The U.S. can't lock down gold.
You know, I've listened to a lot of people at conferences get up with these keynotes and talk about how, you know, you can manipulate the paper market.
Well,
but
every day. If you get up early enough to start looking at gold at 5 in the morning versus 9 in the morning,
yeah,
it's very different.
Yeah. And I was doing that when I used to buy like SLV and options and stuff like that, and I would see that.
Yeah.
I did an interview in Beaver Creek with a gentleman who was telling me that Costco sells over
in the States.
In the States.
It's the biggest retail.
Sells over $200 million a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to fact check it, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of gold.
It's a lot of gold. And you figure they don't run out, whereas other retailers run out too. So Costco's got their delivery system locked down, but they sell a lot of retail gold.
Do you like Costco?
I love Costco.
Do you own stock?
No, I own an executive membership, so I get my 2% back on everything I spend.
I was thinking about it, like how much I love
Costco.
I should own stock. Like if we have a crash for any reason,
Costco will survive.
I'm buying it. I'm buying Costco stock. I love that place, Nicole.
I want to go. I want to go into the States to go to Costco in the States, just because they have cooler stuff.
Yeah, you know, when I was in Denver.
Camera.
Okay. When I was in Denver, the last night, I had nothing to do, so I went on. I checked Google Maps. There was a Costco in the area, and I went.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I do that all over the place.
Well, my thing was Trader Joe's, but now that my husband can't have any salt, I can't use all their. They got some really cool spices and stuff, so
right.
That's out the window for me for a while. So, but Costco, and I've heard very good things about some of Costco's house brand like wines and liquors and just cooler stuff in the States.
Yeah.
I don't drink enough to make it really worthwhile, but it'd be just neat to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I just know, like, everybody that works there, right? There might be the odd person here and there, but like pretty much it's
They're happy to be there.
They're happy to be there. They're well taken care of.
Yeah.
Best customer service, and the return policy. Holy, them and Princess Auto, they nailed it.
Oh yeah.
Like now, when I go to another retailer like Canadian Tire or Walmart, and you go to return something, it's like, what? Like, come on, get with the times.
It's not even that. It's just finding staff to help you. I was in Home Depot and I needed concrete, which of course was up on the top of the shelf.
Yeah.
45 minutes. And then I had to load it on my cart myself and take it out to my car, whereas they were by that time taking the whole skid outside to just put it directly into people's vehicles. I was like, this is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
So
they say people change every 5 to 7 years.
Change what?
Just change.
People?
People just change. And I was thinking about it on the drive here. I'm like, you know, I've known you for the better half of 7 years, not 7 years, but not 3 years.
No, probably 5 anyway, I would guess. Yeah.
So, like, how do you think you've changed?
I got older.
That's a fact.
More white hair. But I've had that since I was 20, so no loss there. How have I changed? You know, you learn. I appreciate the opportunity to always learn stuff and just sophistication. Like, I've seen a lot of the scams and the games and the gray area being pushed, and you know, just refines what I'm doing, which is asset and shareholder focus, right? So, but how have I changed? Well, you know, we've got we now own the gold deposit that we didn't own when we first met, and we've got a completely separate property, which is, I think, occurring at the right time and in the right place, and hopefully we can push it far enough along to really capitalize on what it is. But you know, how else have I changed? I don't know. My kids are in university. I lost my big boy dog, but I've got the crazy puppy and the middle-aged dog, the middle-aged worried man dog. You've got a kid. You lost your grandparents. You know, you've had some changes.
Grandmother's still around, but she's got
granddad that you lost.
She's got vascular dementia. She tried to pick me up last time I went to see her.
Oh, jeez.
She's like, I don't double date, you know. But she said other things. I was like, oh my god. It takes you know, when you deal with that, with the dementia thing, it takes a bit for you as the individual to realize, you know, because it hurts.
Just live in the moment. It hurts. You gotta live in the moment. My father-in-law, who's gone now, you know, he still recognized me. Our youngest daughter, he was convinced was someone else, because in his head, she was 7, whereas in front of him she's 17. So, you know.
Yeah, and it's like when I go to visit, I always, well, in the beginning, the first couple of visits, I wanted to feel like I was doing something for her,
helping the situation.
Right. You know, like I I didn't want to keep asking her like, hey, you know, do you know who it is? But you know, because then it makes you feel like, you know, she's getting some value from the visit, right?
Yeah.
But I don't really feel that way. But yeah, I did. Lost my grandfather.
You just gotta enjoy the moment.
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
It's beyond your ability to improve. So all you can do is enjoy.
Yeah. And I'll give a shout out to all the PSWs and people that work in those homes, because
I couldn't do it.
They're great people. I've met a lot of them now there, and they're you know, like me just being there for an hour or so, it's really frustrating to hear everything going on and see it, and for them to deal with that day in and day out.
No, I mean, the grace they bring to their job and the people they work with is unimaginable.
Yeah, you got to have a serious passion to do that.
You do, and a hell of a lot of patience too.
Yeah. So after we did the X Space a couple weeks ago or a week ago, I did get some messages and actually a phone call. So we're not really here today to talk a lot about Renforth. That's going to be more for the webinar. But I got to ask, will there be a stock consolidation?
No. I get asked this regularly. I get pitched it regularly. Guys who want me to do a consolidation and then give them a really well-priced, you know, we'll finance the company for you once you consolidate it, and then by default we'll become the largest shareholder. And I have no interest in that dialogue. Everything I own, which honestly, it's not a lot, I'm just a regular person, but it's in Renforth. And to my mind, there is no scenario that I've seen where a consolidation does anything other than remove financial value from a shareholder's pocket. Because as a shareholder, nobody cares that they own the same percentage of the company on a post-consolidation basis. What they care about is when they open their statement or they look on their app or their trading account.
Are they up or down?
They want to know, is the $10 they had yesterday still there today? And they don't want to see that their $10 is now $2 because they can't spend the percentage they own of the company, but they can sell their shares and spend that $10, which is theirs to sell and spend. So the only scenario I could see it happening would be, and this is the only way in thinking this through, this is not something I'm about to do, don't take this way. The only way I could see it working would be to split the company, because we arguably have two main assets. If we relisted one of them in a new co, dividended shares to shareholders, we could consolidate the continuing, like you'd consolidate Renforth, say 1 for 2, because you'd issue shares on the other one.
Yeah.
But I really have no interest in consolidation. I'd be taking money out of my own pocket, which is ridiculous to do.
Yeah.
So, 345 million shares outstanding today. I'll raise a little bit of money here. It'll go up a little bit. But I honestly don't care about the number of shares outstanding. It's a function of the value of the asset. The only asset that gives us value, which is out of date by a couple of years right now, is the gold deposit. So we can talk in the webinar about some things I'm doing to address that. However, where I was going with that was, 400 million shares outstanding, 500 million shares outstanding. Nobody asks, well, I suppose they do, but the really big companies or any mining company in Australia, how many shares are out? It puts a limit, the market cap, if you believe in efficient markets, and we're not in an efficient market, but if you believe that the asset value translates to the share value, it's a mathematical proposition how many shares are out. But long story short, and I could talk about this forever because I'm asked it constantly, as long as I'm the president, there will be no share consolidation.
And you're the largest shareholder?
No, not anymore. I have one shareholder. I own outright probably around 12 million shares in my family name. And then I could claim another, say, so in my family name, no, I have a shareholder, an individual shareholder, who I believe is around 17 million shares, who now owns more than me. However, I have interest in a company which, if I do the math, let's say I have another 4 million shares, he still just beats me. Just edged past me recently. Okay. So, yeah, I'm no longer the largest single shareholder.
All right, is that other person's friendly, obviously?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
he's a great shareholder. He's a supportive shareholder. So, it's in very good hands. We have a lot of, I get asked to, the same brokers who really just can't say no to me. So they come up with all these things they want me to do. And when I say I can't do that, then it's my fault, right? It's not their fault, which is fine. But the one thing that I always get asked is who are my top 10 or 20 shareholders? And most recently I filled out the paperwork for BHP Explorer. They asked the same question.
Really, eh?
My answer was, I'm not in a position to share that information. I will tell you what I own, and I do. However, the shareholder register is not public information.
Right.
Nobody can get that information. The fact that I know it doesn't mean it's mine to share. So, but what we do have, where I was going with that, is several individuals that have very large shareholdings, ranging from, a million upwards shares. And they're, generally speaking, they are supportive. Do they sell? Yes, they sell. Do they play in the stock? Yes, they play in the stock. But, they're supportive.
So can you find out who is selling your stock every day?
No. The only way I can find out would be, in terms of anonymous, if you're on the other side of a trade with anonymous, you can ask your broker to determine the next day who the counterparty actually was, but that'll only tell you the house.
Yeah, well, so you don't know the individual.
No. And I mean, you understand how our banks work. And this is wrapped into the whole fiat currency and you know, the Doug Casey's of the world who are going to do their own thing, right? But actually, I was listening to a fascinating podcast on Palisades, I think their most recent one. And this guy is basically unlearn everything you've been taught about the financial system.
Yeah?
But he's not wrong insofar as your banks, your account, it's not in your name.
Right.
Your account's in your name, but everything in your account is being held in the nominee name of whatever institution is holding it. So that means that when you put shares, like I put a DRS certificate in my account,
Yeah.
it goes in, well, it comes right back out to safekeeping because it's in my name. And for all I've signed it and made it negotiable when I put it in the account, they aren't holding it in the account for me. They've now ordered it out. They're re-registering it to the nominee name of the bank.
So that they can borrow?
Uh-huh. And then they'll show it in my account to my benefit, but it's not
borrowed.
in my name.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know. Maybe it's borrowed, maybe it isn't.
What if you lock it up in a registered account like a TFSA?
Everything's still in a nominee name. Everything is to your benefit. It's, you know, so if I pull my shareholder list, the CEO, I get every bank.
Yeah, Merrill Lynch.
No, it'll be
Instinet.
Banque Nationale, Desjardins, and then, you know, it'll go from there.
Right.
And that's it, because it's all registered to the bank's nominee names. With rare exception, there are still some direct registered, like people holding certificates, but not a lot. So yeah, it's interesting, but I do know because I talked to them, we have a number of supportive shareholders with fairly large positions.
Okay. What's the most negative thing you hear from shareholders that you're like, okay, like...
Well, yesterday, why all the good news and the stock doesn't move after yesterday's press release? Well, I mean, I can't make the stock move. I mean, I can, but I don't want to spend the money on that, and it's not necessarily a... Well, we're not going to go into that.
It's not sustainable.
It's definitely not sustainable. That's not where I was going, but you're correct. It's not sustainable. You know, I know we have people who play either side of the market. They make some money on it. Fine. So they need to be pushed out of the way. But to push them out of the way, there needs to be energy and momentum. And there's very little energy or momentum in the junior mining space right now.
Yeah.
You're starting to see the major miners start to benefit from the price of gold. But I put to you, like, gold's still manipulated. Gold trade's not related to production of gold or consumption or anything. But the base metals, the real metals, we need them.
Yeah, we do.
We need more of them.
And North American.
In North America, and there's precious little exploration happening in the world. Because at some point, exploration takes far more capital than you can access in the public markets at the current price point of shares. So there's a cliff coming, and I think, you know, I think we'll see investors will, like, greed is the motivating factor in the market, and investors will start to perceive that there's potential to make a lot of money, and they'll be back.
Yeah.
And then the guys that are playing for half a penny and that, they go away.
The flippers.
Yeah.
I know it's weird because it kind of feels like we're at that with valuations, you know. It's like, okay,
We're just now churning along the bottom.
yeah, I don't know exactly what the catalyst is. I ask that question in almost every interview I do, but really, who knows? Some people, you know, I've heard lots
Well, I
of
think the catalyst, and I don't mean it's a catalyst, but I think, you know, we need to get some of the stupidity behind us that's out there right now. We need the U.S. election to occur.
Yeah, the uncertainty.
Whichever way it's going to fall, let it fall. Let the repercussions be dealt with. And I mean, there will be a new crisis, but you've got at least 2 world wars brewing. You know, and a third that's not going to even be fought in man terms. It'll be economic.
What's the third?
China and the U.S. You know, Wall Street Journal, U.S. is the largest economy in the world and cannot be unseated through economic means. Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
You know, Russia, massive disinformation campaigns, massive information terrorism kind of,
Yeah.
you know. Canada, our own political system, such as it is.
we should talk about that. We always talk about the U.S. election. But like, what's going on here? Like, you know, doesn't anybody have any character? Like,
well, no.
I mean, it's not even about liberal or conservative and NDP.
It doesn't matter. They're all idiots. Like, right? Honestly, it's you got to make your best pick of a bad lot, and
But these politicians dismiss the polls when it's convenient for them,
and they dismiss the people who vote.
You got these two to three parties propping up one party.
Yeah.
When the people are like, we don't want you anymore.
Well, yeah.
You can't trigger an election because of that coalition.
But like, the coalition, like, how does the coalition even come into being? If you are a politician and you run on a platform and people vote for you, or your underlying MPs, because they're all echoing a platform line, so you get elected and you're in office on a platform. Well, who gave you the ability to completely change your value system and go prop up the other dude that your people who voted for you didn't vote for? Well, if they wanted to prop him up, they could have voted for him.
Right, and the problem that I have with that is it undermines the integrity of the whole system.
Well, they're basically saying whatever they need to get voted in, and then they just do whatever the heck they want once they're there.
Yeah.
See, I edited my language there.
So here, I have a stupid thought. It comes to mind. I don't know. I haven't really thought it through. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but I will. Imagine if we all had the ability to vote like referendum style.
Like every month?
No, I don't know. Like I mean, I don't want to get ridiculous with it, but you know, like, yeah, we could just vote on issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just take a vote.
Well, everybody else in any capacity that they work, be at the top of the corporate structure or the bottom, they are in some way subject to feedback or grading or review or whatever of their job. Or if you're self-employed, your bank account will do that for you.
Right.
So then we've got these guys that are not subject to anything. They got a pretty cushy setup. They need to stay in power long enough to trigger their even cushier pensions.
That's true.
And they have there's no feedback whatsoever. Now, you could say there's feedback every 4 years, but I'd put to you that in year 4, when you see them actually campaign, they've done a whole bunch of polling to see what the issues are in public opinion, and they're just parroting whatever they think will get them in office.
Well, I could be stand corrected here, but wasn't one of Trudeau's main thing was reforming the election?
Funny, it hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't. I don't know. Who do you think? What do you think is going to happen there? I'm not asking you what party. What party
no,
you're a part of.
It's not about what party I vote for. However, I mean, I think what you're going to see it's Poilievre's election to lose. Trudeau has managed to piss off or disenfranchise, I think, a lot of voting Canadians. And then there's also just like that's before we even get into just debt and you know, GDP and debt and taxation and all those other good things. So I think it's the Conservatives' election to lose, but a lot's going to depend on when the election's finally called.
Do you think that the Liberals will be able to get Justin to, do you think the Liberals will be able to pull a little political coup like the U.S.?
Well, and could they put a different candidate forward? They're going to have to do it
That's
soon.
the only thing that's the only move they have.
It's the only move they have, and I'm waiting to see it happen because I believe it's by October of next year we have to have a federal election.
Yeah.
So you're inside of 12 months to have a new candidate have to go out, establish their brand, and do their polling. I mean, there's got to be a point where it's a hill too high to climb, right?
That's got to be the conversation within the Liberal caucus.
That's the only card they have to play.
And you know what, Nicole? Like there isn't a lot of people that come out these days and say they're Liberals, but I don't underestimate the Liberal vote. In Southern Ontario.
In Southern Ontario, it's pretty much a lock for the Liberals. But I think even in Southern Ontario at this point, if they don't put a new candidate forward, I think they have problems.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's so obvious now. Like, you know, like people are getting hurt on Main Street. Like, you know, we're in
catch and release. Come on.
Catch and release.
Well, our criminal code, our federal criminal code. I was reading about that on Reddit last night. I thought you were talking
about P. Diddy videos. catch and release.
Yeah. No, probably not. But
catch and kill. That's what it's called. Yeah, but no. Yeah, these guys like go in. You know, they get.
There are some fundamental structural issues that need to be addressed.
Well,
regardless of party.
Yeah. The food banks are ridiculous. Like I drove through my old hood there in Scarborough. The old
Oh, food insecurity is real.
yeah.
I have friends of my daughters, you know, I'm like feeding just random people because I like to cook.
Yeah.
But
Well, you're helping them out?
Yeah. You know, it's just it's hiding in plain sight too. It's, you know, it's the seniors, there's a whole bunches of people.
Yeah.
Food insecurities all of a sudden become real in our society.
Yeah.
You know, which is new.
Well, why don't we leave it off on the food thing and let's go in and get some wings.
Chicken wings it is.
Chicken wings, maybe we're gonna go here to McGuire's. And
Innocent Gun is
Yeah.
on the menu.
all right, so we'll I'm just backing up here, friends. We'll catch everybody on the webinar. That's a little update from Nicole and I.
Yeah.
And we need to do the morning drive a little more often.
For sure.
Yeah,
Especially when it ends in chicken wings.
I agree. They got a wicked gar parm here.
Oh yeah. Innocent Gun.
We'll see you on the webinar. Take care.
Thanks guys.
Follow the Money Investor Group is a 100% Indigenous-owned company and certified with the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business.